Hello and welcome back to Dustfront. My name is Ty. Some players like tanks. I like tanks. Some RTS players choose only tanks. In Dustfront, the T50B is the main battle tank, and it's one of the few units that really benefits from veterancy. So tonight, we're going to play as an elite tank brigade, and that's all we're basically going to use. So, let's have some fun tonight. If you're enjoying the Dustfront content, hit like and subscribe. We have plenty more coming. Retreat? There is no retreat. We are going in playing 1 times 10 max difficulty, max base size, max parts. We're going to bring tanks. We've got a couple of dreadnoughts there to protect our front line, but mostly it's going to be tanks. Tanks. So, yeah. Like I said in the intro, the T50B benefits a lot from veterancy because it gains a secondary weapon, a machine gun. And the machine gun lets it kill other things much more effectively. And so I would say it's actually one of the best units that we've got access to for general duties. And I think that we can just win it straight up using the tank. The goal will be to get them veterancy and get them that weapon so that they're able to take down wasps, infantry, worms, the whole lot. And here we go. Alright, the base is pretty close to us, but we've got a decent amount of resources here. So I think we're only going to use the starting dreadnoughts, and then I may build a couple just so we have a decent front line. So I think in the early stage, we'll just use our tanks to try and farm some experience. We won't make much use of infantry except to fill in the trenches, call in a dropship here or there. Get them on the wing. When they fight Cerberus, they're actually quite effective, but they're better if you flank. We'll make a lot of use of formation. Keeping them in formation, reverse move to maximize their armor. Great news is that the demo is not going away. What was supposed to be a short thing is now staying for as long as needed. So there's no threat of you missing out on getting to play it. Tanks on the flank. Let's get this second processing plant down. Just use the vision here so that we can push this base away from us. Try and take out some of the factories too, they're quite close. I'm a big fan of construction cranes, and I'm going to make heavy use of them tonight. But it's not what you think. I'm not going to mess around with Brems and spamming E to repair my stuff. I'm going to build the base in such a way as that we can have a repair depot for the tanks to come back to. And I don't think I'll make much use of my reinforcements unless I absolutely have to. And there isn't much that's good against the tank from the mutant faction. All of their infantry, their worms, their flies, are pretty lackluster against the tank. The only thing is you've got to keep them away from dreadnoughts, because the dreadnoughts will kill them with their fire. I'll adjust that audio, yeah. Well, that's why everyone's here, though, for the guns. I'll still be using airdrops this time. Try and keep the aircraft alive as much as possible. Nope, too late. Yeah, I feel like if you haven't got your stuff together by 10 minutes, you're in big trouble. And 20 minutes is the real pressure test. Get an early trench up. It's not the best position for it. There we go. Spread out the drones a bit now. That will push that base away. Slot in the TRM, and we'll start building some base defenses. Call in our first reinforcement. The rebels are actually quite difficult. The tooltip saying they're the easy faction is a bit of a lie, because they certainly rush you. I played a practice game against the rebels before at max difficulty, max base size, and I got attacked in the first minute by 3 assault trucks. I was also practicing a no reinforcement, no strike group run, so that was just completely thrown out the window. Because I had a couple of dropship infantry, that's about it, and the infantry from the MCV. It's kind of funny. RNG does play a big part of the standard battle, but especially when you're doing a challenge. Like, you could spawn in and there'd be no resources on your side of the map. And like, if you're playing normally, you could just rush material fabricators and that's fine, or take a sector, but when you're trying a niche challenge, it does up the ante a bit. Okay, we have a nice collection of tanks here, 26 tanks. No effort required. And so I feel, after playing a fair bit, that the tanks are better than the dreadnoughts. Because you get more of them. They've got more firepower spread across a larger area. And once they're veterans, they're actual monsters. And the thing that, you know, you've got the benefit of air power against the mutants. You don't have that strength against the rebels. Like, you can't do deep strikes on their base because they'll just clap your bombers. And your observation aircraft get shot down by nearly all their units. All their vehicles can shoot them down, I'm pretty sure, except the artillery. I think the best unit to use against the rebels is in fact their own assault truck. So just hold the line for a bit. Once they sort of push back, run out and take more of their assault trucks. Early warehouse from the TRM. When I was playing last week, I made a habit of only building warehouses from the supply depot, but that puts a lot of pressure on your early logistics. So it's much easier to whack a few supplies down from your TRM. And that'll get you a few extra early units or an extra AK out. I was trying to put a bunker there, but it won't fit. Let's move up. And these little warehouses from the TRM, the little generators, are actually quite good. When your MCV's busy and you need power, plop one down, and they're very small footprint as well, so they can fit into the little gaps that you might have in your base. I think the TRM is underrated for that role, especially. I don't like this left side of base. We've got nowhere I can really place an adequate defense. I think they're going to push us from the right, but if they push from the left first, we might be in a bit of trouble. 26 tanks will do some work. Sometimes the best defense is a roving defense. It was pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. It deletes more than what you can see on the screen. And I like to sprinkle a few MLRS in with the howitzer barrage, just for the extra fire damage. And just shooting infantry, they only have to kill like 10 units and they get a chevron. Can we fit another little one in here? Yes, we can. Yes, I've read Sun Tzu. It's my take on it though. Roving defense. More power. We need more power. AKs for the AAs. Let's bring TRM over to the left side of base. It's got some scattered infantry. Fortunately, they can cover this gap here. They won't get to the trenches in time, unfortunately for them. I don't know, that's a good question. Let's drop the salt. The dropship assault. I think we need more fire. Yeah, there's a lot of din-dins once we push them down into the ground. There'll be a lot of flesh for the soup vat. Slow cook that shit. It looks like they're getting grilled. So I'm going to leave the right side of my defense open so that tanks have enough room to get in and out of the base. And then we'll be able to press the flank of the attackers when it gets too much for the front line. Damn it. It's not an ideal base when the resources are at the front gate. So I've gone all in on the processes for now to try and clear us some base space. We need more AKs, we need more bunkers. We're about, what, 14 minutes in or something like that? It means that Cerberus are not far away. You can expect them about 18 to 20 minutes. That's why I like to get a few bases clamped early, in the hopes of preventing more Cerberus coming than I can handle. So we've got 2 wide open doors on the flanks of our line. The tanks are putting pressure on that right flank. Hey Fletcher, how you going, mate? We started late tonight. So you're here just on time. Foundry time. The foundry is super important for tank rush, I think. You need 5, but you also need the arsenal for that extra kick. We'll go one of each because I'm aiming for material fabricators. Look at those chevrons stacking. Everyone get on the front line. Get some experience. All this burning mutant flesh, I can feel a sneeze coming. The eyes are watering. Gonna start your own game too? Oh yeah. This demo is just a gift that keeps on giving. Upgrading a dreadnought will give them the current buff from foundries and arsenals. Ooh, I guess that's a good point. Thank you for that tip. I guess because it's a brand new unit. So pulling off those injured tanks to the back of the base to be repaired by the crane for free. Oh yeah, that line. They'll all start stacking machine guns in the cupola next. And then we won't really need AA because they'll do that for us. We need more storage. We need more eyes. All the interceptors are now up. One was shot down. Here come the wasps. But we're ready for them. Giving the harvesters their rocket launchers as they will be harvesting on the front line. Here comes Serbs. Orderly retreat. Because we want the Serbs to fight our line and then the flank. We don't want our tanks to fight them directly until we have critical mass. Redirecting those dreadnoughts to fire on the Cerberus, calling in a dropship to try and get some troops in this bunker. Yes, I think it would. Most certainly would. But they have more AT infantry, so their infantry would be better than the mutants against your tanks. Get him! Don't blow up the flamethrower. Yeah, we just chillin'. The mutants are burning, but we're chillin'. Foundry down. They're just an annoyance while I concentrate on my base. Lightweight generator. Because we need more power. I need to use up this free space. Call this Star General back. Look at them clap those Cerberus. Yes. They do a much better job than the Dreadnoughts against Cerberus. Reverse. No, don't drive frontways. Reverse. If you click the right mouse button and drag it, you can do a formation reverse. But it's a bit, we don't have much space here, so we'll just push them. Pull back. Go and get repairs quick. We can't afford to lose you guys. We've lost a total of 10 tanks. So with a no strike group and no reinforcement run, it's the corruptors and the artillery that are the bane of your existence. You've got no meaningful way to project power to stop them in the early 10-20 minutes. No, I didn't bring MLRS, we just brought tanks. A couple of dreadnoughts to start. And so, when you do a no-strike group or no reinforcement run, I think you've got to focus on tank production pretty quick. Just so you can leave your own line to hunt down those buggers, the brains. Right, we've got a nice little spot here to set up our material fabs. Should be able to fit 3 or 4. More power is required. We are too low for those fabs when they come down. Great having all these resources, but it's just in a very inconvenient place. So the crane will fix them. Yes, it will. It's not an ideal repair yard, but it's all we've got. We need more power. Those fabs are about to come online and they're going to blitz us. Blackout instantly. If you're getting to the point where you're relying on just material fabricators, make certain you do not run out of power, because if you do, so does the money. It stops. Yeah, let's just splat this tiny little outpost. And the interceptors were ready for them. More power, more power, more power. I need to divert some harvesters down here to clear that patch for us. There we go, in a little spot. Having additional build queues is priceless. Yeah, the first few days I was playing, we played no pause, but yeah, I need that time to think. If the buildings were easier to place, I wouldn't do it. But the biggest thing that slows me down is trying to find the right place to put a building. Certainly hats off to you though, it's a very busy game. And I play a lot of Terminator Dark Fate Defiance, which, if you play that without pausing, you're an absolute psycho. That game is very difficult too. Dropship down. Hello, Dr. Wolford. How you doing? We're all owlers around here. The dust front never settles. It is the school holidays currently, so I have less to do during the week. So 2 machine shops are ready. We need to expand the base's influence. And we need an insurance policy in terms of power. So those tanks are doing a good job of easing the pressure on our line by just thinning out that herd before it gets to us. This game, for a demo, has entranced me for the better part of 2 weeks. I've had a great time. It's been a long time since I've played just a purely fun RTS. Like, I'm just having fun. And just being able to set the difficulty to what I want is fantastic. It's really increased the replayability. Like, to have an actually difficult time is quite refreshing. No, I'm not in the education system. I've just got kids. What difficulty? This is maximum difficulty, maximum base size, but we're not doing the silly ×2 ×3 thing, because we will be here for 8 hours otherwise. This is just ×1. I'm not doing ×2 or ×3. at that, like, I could do it. I just don't have 8 hours to do it, 6 hours to do it. And I feel like that's how long it would take. Maybe 4. I did watch someone that finished it at ×3 max difficulty, the whole lot, and it looks like a turn-based strategy, trying to give all the orders for his brems to repair everything. Hats off to him though, he endured it and completed it. Yeah, I did do an 8-hour stream, yeah, and I paid for it the next day, that's for sure. I feel like I need more tools if I want to play at that sort of difficulty. I want to be able to choose what research I've got. I want to choose my army loadout. And that 8-hour stream was just trying to win, wasn't it? We were trying to win. We're going to set up our little repair yard. Plus I had the bug, like, I picked it up and I was like, holy crap, this is so good. I'd planned to do a bunch of streams for all different RTS games, and it just all got thrown on the back burner. Went up in smoke and turned to dust. Yeah, the rebels, they were the ones. They were the ones that got me. They were in my back door in the first like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And then my flabbers were gasted when I watched them just go around my defenses. I'm like, you're not supposed to be able to flank, that's not fair. I did see that it is an issue, that it is a thing that will be looked at. It is a priority, it just couldn't be done by the time the demo came out. I mean, the TRM and the cranes, they all auto-repair. So it's a thing, it just hasn't been done for the Brem. But I get you, yeah. It's exhausting after, you know, a few hours of it. Foundry's down. Got some beautiful gold chevrons on some of our tanks. We have lost a few more. No, we haven't. We just haven't selected them all. It's a fresh batch. I'm thinking about having 2 squads, but I know that the mutants are going to up the ante soon, so we might just keep them close. Keep them close together. And it's hard to enjoy like the spectacle of the game and the rush when you're just like, oh, repair this, repair that, repair this, repair that, repair this for an hour. Until you can get the power to try and push out a bit more. Just move up 1 square, that would be great. Serbs are here. Charge them! Tank General. Alright, we're running. So this will be the theme for a little while, just push out, try and break their attack, and then retreat for repairs. We lost another tank, and it was a star. Hey, how you going? Welcome to the Dust Front. We got barbecue happening. Though I probably wouldn't eat it. We need more material fabrication. Put another one down. That gas canister there is annoying. I could have fit 4. I haven't watched a lot of other people play, but I do know that RTS players do have their different flavors. I loved getting the Mad Max spam of assault trucks. That was my favorite part of crumping the rebels. Just sent out our forces with a bunch of brems for recovery, which that was one facet that I like about fighting the rebels, is that you've got that extra salvage meta. You can also capture their harvesters, destroy them and then steal them. You don't even have to press G, you just right click and drag and they'll reverse. So you just hold right mouse, drag in a direction and they'll get into formation and reverse. The tanks are amazing. Tanks are great. You've got to get them veterancy though. Once they have veterancy, they get machine guns as well, and they become anti-infantry and anti-air. That's where they're good. So you want the veterans. There are no amateurs in this tank brigade. Spearhead them. Break their assault. Try and take out some of the buildings. We are losing some of the vehicles. We're pulling back. Fast retreat. They have no range, so we can turn our backs to them. Come back to the repair yard. This is times 10, times 5, times 4, but I've just got the normal multiplier. I'm not a masochist or a sadist. We're playing max difficulty as originally intended, before we broke the game. No, it's not times 3. This is just the standard multiplier, but it is maximum difficulty. I personally don't like bullet sponges as a form of difficulty. But I understand why he did it, because everyone wanted it to be harder. Like when an RPG or something gives a boss 10 billion health when you play it on hard, just because it's on hard. But I fully respect... Oh, shit. I blew it up. You maniacs, you blew it up. I thought it was the gas canister. Holy crap, it blew our entire base up. Oh my goodness. Well, there's your self-imposed handicap, boys. And what the heck did I do that for? I just thought it was a gas canister, so I was going to blow it up. I didn't realize it was the explosive. I guess it was a 50-50. Hey boss, can we blow the base up? 50-50. All my material fabricators, all my storage, all of my supply depots. Oh man, we just gutted our own base. Oh well, guess we better start again. What's life without a firework, eh? I'm here to entertain you, and I think I did that by mistake. Shit. I'm financially ruined. We went from having a massive income and decent storage to no money, no income. Oh, we've got income from the harvesters. But yeah, that was dumb. Someone's going to the gulag. Which one of you was it? 3 or 4 tanks also perished. That was a massive explosion. I was only partially paying attention because I was looking at the chat. Trying to be all witty in that. Well, that was a minor setback. Well, tanks. Can't trust a tanker to remove something with a little bit of finesse. There's one solitary warehouse left. That was a massive chain reaction. I can't believe... Look at the crater it left in the base. Oh dear. Highly enjoyable play. Our supply cap is just ruined. We are way over cap. And here comes the next assault. The trenches are worse for wear. One of those material fabricators is partially underground because of the deformation. Lucky we have extra parts, or that would be a run ender if you couldn't afford to rebuild them. Trenches completely destroyed. Bit of rough terrain there. Yeah, that you can't ignore that. That's going in the report. Let's just let's do what most organizations would do in this situation and just blame the people that died. It's a tank time. Hey Delta, hey Azu, welcome guys. Glad to have you. You just missed me accidentally blowing up half the base. We were complete maniacs. I don't know if I trust them to do that again properly, but they had to clear the debris. So that set us back about 15 minutes, I reckon. I would have been pushing out to attack. At least pushing them off this point, just north of our position. Yeah, the light tanks are great, especially when, like, the strong argument here is to keep them alive, get them veterancy so that they get their machine gun from veterancy. I blew up all the supply depots as well. Yeah, we blew up the whole base. I shot a gas, what I thought was a gas canister, and it was in fact an explosive. And it blew up our material fabricators, our warehouses, our supply depots, some power plants, and then set a raging inferno. Yeah, no, we just whack it in there. Thanks very much for the sub, Moonrose. Welcome to the stream. Alright, pull back tanks. Softened their advance, but the tentacles are whipping. The corruptors don't really do much to tanks either. They're just an annoyance. Alright, supply cap is back where it should be. I reckon I would be in the lead. Yeah, I am most certainly a... I won't say I'm a nihilist, but we gotta win. I channel my Commissar vibes. I have been accused of being a Krieger many times. I'm actually a Dark Angel. So, you know, we just get it done. I've noticed that the mutants do build more of their artillery piece than they used to. And that it's not uncommon to see like a whole line of them now. What's the next DLC for Warno? The Czechoslovak Legion? Hey, only the, how can I put this without causing heresy? Only the ones that didn't so-called, like, quote-unquote betray the Primarch were called Fallen. They don't call themselves Fallen. All is forgiven. The Lion forgives. Oh, Latin America, hey? Cool. The worms are slithering towards our position, and our trenches are filled, ready to be eaten. They won't last long. Right, tank brigade forming up again. Let's put another crane in here for maximum repair efficiency. Yeah, so that was 15 minutes of building what I'd already built. A little gap there between my construction cranes is annoying. Alright, tankers. Getting ready for another mission. We need more foundries to increase the armor of your newly built tanks. The third machinery plant to bring the costs down. Let's roll out. No brute, just tank. Brute in tank today. I'd considered building a complector, but that would just distract me. So we are building factory, complex, and repair hub for the tanks to keep them alive. We're out of power. We're out of money. I was hoping unpacking and packing up an AK would bring our power use down, but it does not. The big bombs. Oh, they're getting into their battle line. 3 deep, 15 wide. Advance. Put these ones on guard mode so they don't just run off into the wilderness chasing worms. Go. Tentacle tickle time. Yeah, so just right click, drag in the direction you want the formation, and they will reverse to that position and take up their formation. It's not too bad. It's a bit wide for my liking. You can't really narrow it down, it only gets wider, or you can turn it into a column. I'm sure those things will get refined. I was also informed that you can create attack move orders from the war factories and complectors as well. There's a little A symbol down in the bottom of the UI. If you click that for your factories and then set the rally point, they will move there in attack move. So you can just do that brute spam that way. Hands-off gameplay. Becomes an auto battler at that point. Alright, that should do for income. We are advancing across no mutant land. Take out the spitting turrets. That machine gun just adds the extra killing power they need. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the BTR. And so when you've got veteran tanks, you don't need BTRs. We can't actually build further south. Trying to leave a large avenue for my tanks to maneuver through the base. Everything's blocked, there's no room. Move this turret forward. And we are out of supplies already. Spent half my time looking for free real estate. Let's get these infantries in the ground. It seems like the tanks are the only one that get a weapon change that I've seen. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a BTR level up. But the assault squad, they get really good when they're veterans. They just refuse to die. Well, the squad dies, but the brute that's in the middle with the big autocannon, he doesn't die. So they've actually got heaps of health. So I found them to be pretty good. The artillery pieces, so like the Dreadnought, the MLRS, and the Molot, they don't gain veterancy from what I've seen. The armored cars become pretty good. They've got that extra AT power that you need if you're not using tanks. But they don't get a weapon change. Yeah, I would use it as a battle taxi, but the infantry inside can gain veterancy, so I guess that's the upside. It's a mobile garrison. Just look how quickly they melt. Serbs. Hello, Angel. Welcome. Yeah, that's your counter to Cerberus. It's just tanks with AP. So we had 26 tanks at one point and we were able to hold everyone off. I haven't called in my other reinforcements. In fact, I probably won't bother. It is, yes. But you can kite pretty well with it. It's pretty fast. You just got to be proactive about its turn circle. Or just reverse. But I reckon snipers and AT soldiers in BTRs are the way to go. I'm pretty sure that's a flame tank. I've seen that there's like a land battleship. There's like a flame tank. And I can't remember the other unit I saw. That was just a unit card I saw though, not the actual unit itself. To be like the Brotherhood of Nod's flame tank. I guess we already did SPG only. One of my early games when the game was unreleased, we ran out of parts, so I had to win it with Molots. I only came in with like 1,000 parts. The small Molot can be used with a spotter as well, but it's not very effective. You need like 1,000 of them. Okay, so this mob of tanks is having trouble now getting back to the repair yard. We might build another outside the base. Air only. Yeah, bombers only. Nothing else. You get 3 airstrikes at the start, you've got to win with that. growing our veteran core. The snipers are really good against infantry mobs. Really good. Even the barracks, the upgraded barracks has a free sniper in it. So if you use a barracks on your front line upgraded, it's a defensive turret. And he'll pick off whole squads of worms and things like that. So there's something to be said to having a barracks at the front line behind a bunker. And the bunker be behind a flamer. And you'll be able to basically kill any unit. Look at that face tank the Serbs. Eat my dust. There's plenty to go around. The snipers are one that really benefit from veterancy too. Their spotting range increases dramatically when they're veterans. Trying to pull individual tanks out of the mass, but everyone else is in the way. Look at those splat the Serbs. Well, I reckon a tank rush is the way to win the ×3 multiplier, but playing it aggressively. If they can melt Serbs that quickly, that veterancy really helps. Let's build a second war factory complex, I think. It's running out of usable space. A couple of large warehouses. I think they have 1,400, but they're highly armored. And they have crazy regeneration when they're doing damage. It seems to be when they're doing damage. And I could have sworn they seem to heal each other when they stand together in a mass. But it's a real change of pace compared to the brutes that needed like 30 squads of brutes to take down one Serb. And I would say the tank has some form of armor piercing, that's why it's so effective against them. Flank shots also do more damage. So I've put this barracks here at the front line, and it's got a sniper nest now. So he'll just shoot like a tower. If you have a little bit of overlap on all the cranes, they'll work together to repair a single unit really quickly. Just some tanks enjoying life, not a brem in sight. G'day, Measy. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the sub. Chuck down a radar. I'm going to make use of the radar's power, so I don't have to waste a P2 needlessly, and I don't have to spend any more points on it at P2. Oh, tentacle tickle time. Yeah, they can shoot on the move. You can do drive-by shots. They're a little bit slow in a mass, so they can't really kite. But they don't really need to, I guess. They're pretty good. I'm sold on the tanks. Move the MCV, try and get some more real estate. Hey guys, welcome guys. Tank time. We all like tanks, don't we? Hey, it is hell, I understand. Charge! Charge! Our will is made of iron, so are our steeds. I'm enjoying the tanks. One, because it's easier, I guess. They're good. Just gotta keep them alive. The brutes were fun. I like the game. I think it's all fun. The 90 guns on my battery were fun. The 30 howitzers were fun. The T-50B has a machine gun when it's a veteran. So it becomes very good against infantry once they're veterans. And so, yeah, they basically become a second unit. They can shoot with their tank gun while the mounted gun on the roof can still shoot everyone else. It's great. Multi-targeting is a thing. Total War 40k, my thoughts are, I want it, I need it, and it better be good. If it's not good, then I guess I'll be sad. Despite what is said about Total War Warhammer 3 and all the previous iterations, I have spent so much time into that game that I would say that it was a good game. And it's a good game for a number of reasons. It just has flaws like most games do. I feel like CA will put all the effort into the atmosphere, and things like the music and the voice lines will be just, I think they'll be top tier. CA really seem to put effort into that with their fantasy series. I want to see space battles. I want to see a glorious return to naval warfare in Total War, but in space. And if they were to make it like Battlefleet Gothic Armada, holy shit, the game would be great. If you could have fleet battles like Battlefleet Gothic Armada and then have land battles like Total War, you'd have the greatest game ever made, in my opinion. And I think they should aspire to that. If the galaxy layer is just like click here to like warp over and then launch your dropships, I won't be very happy about it. It'll be a missed opportunity. Hey, they might have self-repair. I actually don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on. I think the ones with the star are the top veterans. In Command & Conquer, they healed themselves to 50%, didn't they, I think? Or is that the Mammoth tank? Auto repair, 50%. So I've just set all the machine plants to have an attack move order using that A. It's probably not an A, it's probably a Russian character. But you click it when you've got your war factory selected and the waypoint will have attack move. After my brute run, someone informed me that in the comments, so thanks very much for that tip. So the new repair yard's being set up right on the line, but I'm confident that we've done enough damage to them that I'll be able to smash any attack. We need more power. We cannot run out of power. Alright, the tanks are ready. Should be 30 or so. We need to repair these two. All right on the brink of death. That will probably be the last time we use the internal repair yard. There's those artillery I was telling you about, a whole line of them. Okay, so Elite was full health. Yeah, it must have been the Mammoth tank that could repair out of the gate, but only to 50%. Before veterancy. Power's down, god damn it. I told you they needed to keep the power up. The Secretary General Emperor will not be pleased. I think that's his title. It's time to shibby on over to the production on the right side. Take out all of those artillery pieces that are putting pressure on the trenches. Look at that, 4 tanks annihilated 1 Serb. So yeah, I reckon they're the key to a max difficulty run. I still have 2 reinforcement waves I haven't even bothered to use. If I was using dreadnoughts, I would have needed them. That just shows you the killing power of the tank. It's like in Red Alert how the Soviets had the heavy tank, which was good. But holy crap, was the light tank from the Allies good when you spammed them in enough numbers. Like, the heavy tank just could not compete with the light tank because of its their rounds per minute. And if you mixed in a few medium tanks here or there to soak damage, yeah, the Allies actually had a pretty strong tank force. There was nothing worse than getting absolutely gangbanged by a light tank rush in the first, 5 minutes of a game. I think there was a patch or some change, a balance change at some point that made the flamethrower from the Soviets actually good against light tanks. Red Alert 1 in particular. So the Soviets had the flame turret and the Tesla coil. I played a lot of Red Alert 1 and Red Alert 2 as my main games. Charge! The Iron Steeds will crush the foul flesh. That advance unintentionally, but that will probably mean they'll start pushing down the left side of our base now with that blown up. We're to come back for repairs. See, the Wasps, no chance. Haha. Normally, if your tanks weren't veterans, they would be eaten alive by these. No, I haven't yet played the maximum difficulty. I have played it, I haven't beaten it yet. I was saying that I feel like it takes too long. To be enjoyable. I said earlier that I'm not a fan of bullet sponges for difficulty, and I know this was not an intended thing, so I'm not criticizing him for that, but yeah, I think that it's just putting your hand in the fire, see how long it takes till you burn. But this is the strategy I would use, actually. I would use tanks. That's why you counter their tankiness with tankies. Tank them with tanks. These tanks, when you've got a few of them veteran, they delete Serbs. Delete them. You watch, the next Serb wave will just get wiped out. I would like to see a feature where you could designate a place to be a trench line, and if the trenches get destroyed, when you have it, just automatically will replace them if you have some manpower nearby, or a construction crane, or a trench vehicle. We've got the land torpedoes. How you going, Cactus? Thanks for joining us, mate. You only need, I think it's 12 tanks that you focus down the Serbs one by one, preferably while they're attacking something else, and they're pretty easy to kill. I think the love of dreadnoughts has sort of skewed our perception of how powerful the Cerberus really is. I still stand by my belief that the Wasp is in fact the most dangerous mutant. That's the thing though, you don't need it. When you've got the tanks, you don't need the BTRs, because as they fight, they get what the BTR has, and they're nowhere near as squishy. Yeah, common infantry. Like, I think the feature should be you designate a trench line and nearby infantry will dig it, and if they get destroyed, nearby infantry will re-dig the line. Can you dig it? There is the most dangerous thing, yeah. And in this build of the mutants, they have a distinct disadvantage against air attacks. I feel like at some point he buffed their AA, because in the early days you could just bomb them with impunity and not lose a single bomber. The veteran tank brigade is crumping them. Sometimes you can give orders through the mini-map, other times it doesn't work. One feature that I absolutely need in my life is being able to click the mini-map to move the camera to that position. It doesn't always work. Oh, hello. You might want to not get blown up by that falling pipe. Here come the wasps. Just retreat. Reverse retreat. Yeah, there was nothing like an elite commando, GDI commando. Holy shit, were they good, in CNC3 especially. I was obsessed with Tiberium Sun. I loved that game. Yeah, the MOBA they made doesn't count. It's like, I find it funny that, you know, they removed base building from that game, and then many years later another franchise did the same thing and they wondered why everyone revolted on them. And I'm talking about Dawn of War. The biggest selling point for Dawn of War 4 that I've seen in their marketing has been, we brought back base building. You asked for it, we gave it to you. So, I'm sitting there with my eyebrow slightly raised, like The Rock would do. No, they don't. They don't appear to regenerate. There's nothing that can counter any spam if you spam it hard enough. So there might be a hard counter to this, but I haven't seen it yet. It'd be interesting to see if the rebels can actually put up a fight against it. Because the rebels have lots of AT soldiers, and the AT soldiers are actually a pain in the backside. Yo, Ruffle gone, it is a late one, I know. The sun will be rising any year now, any moment. Oh no, it's something way off, yeah. The sun rises at like 4 AM here in Australia. Charging. Yeah, they've got a different roster of units though. They've got like different artillery in that, don't they? From memory. But I guess that's what you're saying, it's a reskin. Yeah, the infantry is the same, yeah. What is the all army key? It's F2. Or down in the bottom left you'll see a little tick box, and then you can just double click on your unit and it'll select the map wide. And then if you press F3 it selects all your units including your civilians or workers. I just use select all by double clicking on the tanks and it selects the map wide. The spitters here are very good against your tanks. If they land right on the roof, they'll kill them. But they're very squishy. Well, they should be by nature. They're a fleshy mound. My pleasure, mate. So we're going to pull back. They're in a sorry state. But they did a pretty good push. We've got some enemies at the gate. It's more warehouse time. Just going to fill in the old repair yard. We don't need it anymore. But I'm not pressing delete. We'll blow the base up again. For those of you that are just joining us, I accidentally blew up half the base. I guess you could say that it was a self-imposed challenge to see what happens when you blow your own base up and then try and win. It's actually clip worthy. I'm gonna have to go back and clip it. I don't think I'm going to expand. I'm not the type to expand. I like to set a beachhead and then just kill everything. I've got one. I've been using one the whole time. We used it to build a bunch of lightweight power generators at the start of the game. Yeah, it was a self-nerf. I tried to destroy an obstacle and the obstacle exploded and took all of our volatile buildings out in a giant chain reaction. No, I shot a gas canister and it blew up. And we blamed everyone that perished. 3 tanks were destroyed in the explosion, as well as 3 material fabricators. All of our supplies, storage, everything was all blown up. Pretty crazy, actually. The only thing that was really left were the machine shops and the front line. Patch it right up. There she is. The challenge this time was to go all in on tanks and use a veteran tank brigade, with only been calling tanks in our reinforcements. I like the line of 3 because it has overlap, and so then 2 cranes can fix 1 tank, and it's almost instant. It's just a pathfinding with such a large mob. But in terms of if you wanted more surface area, yeah, a box pattern would work really well. We're max money, I just need to maximize supply. Oh no, see, that's what kills tanks when they don't have the AA. Yeah, I just thought it was a gas one, like the noxious gas, and then I remembered there's 2 times after it exploded. A single tanker fired and it blew up. Well, this is a semi-no reinforcements. We called in 1 wave of tanks. That's it. And I've still got 2 reinforcement queued up, but I'm not going to use them. You need additional pylons. You need to run over all these worms. That should be a thing. Fuck your worm. The brutes did not make that much ground, ever. We built a wall out of brutes, and that's how we kept the mutants out. We actually have a god in our server. What? Is it a spaghetti monster? Oh no! Oh well, it looks like half our base is going to get blown up again. They've crumped the front gate while I was off doing a mission. I've got no reinforcements here. We've got 2 tanks that have to hold the line. Let's call in a dropship and a bombing strike here. That collapsed quickly. Oh, no. Unit ready, unit ready, unit ready, unit ready, unit lost, unit lost. How do you get more than 1 dreadnought? You build them from the war factory. If you have 50 supply. No, I'm not going to use my reinforcements. I'll hold the line. That's what I get for lapsing my watchful eye on this defensive line. We're calling back the attack force. I think we can hold out. If not, it's just a failed run and we'll try again. I need a Brem. I said I wasn't going to do Brems, but we need one. They cost 50 supplies, so you need to build quite a few warehouses to start fielding dreadnoughts in numbers. Or you can call them in through your reinforcement panel, and they don't cost supply when they come that way, so that's how most people use them. You can bring like 13 or I think 13 dreadnoughts if you go all in on reinforcements of them. it's okay. I think we broke the heaviest of the attack. We've got the AT soldiers from the drop ship trying to destroy that Cerberus corpse. The lead element has arrived. We're going to try and stem the flow of mutants. I don't know what you mean, man. Cactus. I have no idea what you mean. Yeah, missile squad, arm up. Got the rockets. Got the rockets. My favorite voice line was the Tesla Trooper from Red Alert 2. The Flak Trooper from Red Alert 2. I liked the Desolator from Red Alert 2. I think it was Red Alert 2, yeah. Desolator, ready. Make it glow. I also liked, was it the IFV? High speed, low drag. Yes, and if it dies and there are lots of those corpses, they just start swarming you with flies, and that can break your back. I've found that the enemy collectors are super dangerous for that reason. They spawn heaps of maggots. So there can be a point where the resources on the map run out, so the enemy swarms you with their collectors, and the whole battlefield can just be littered with maggots. They'll be just pouring out of the corpses. It's kind of gross. The missile squads from Nods, yeah. Got the rockets. And then, of course, you can't forget things like Tanya and the Commando from GDI. The first Commando, you know. That was left-handed. Got a present for you. Did anyone else just ever be a menace with spies? I was a menace with spies. And in Red Alert 2, you could get all these broken units by sending spies into the enemy war factories and things like that. You can get like the Chrono Commando and Chrono Ivan. Ultimate Yuri Prime or something like that. Or Yuri Clone, something like that, I don't know. Yes. Whereas the Allied guy is just such an optimist. It's like, should I go in there? But I'm unarmed. Yes, they do come back from the dead. It leaves a wreck behind. The wreck can still be destroyed, but you can salvage it with a Brem. The same applies to the Rebel assault truck. So you can kill a whole heap of their assault trucks and then salvage them and use them against them. You can also capture the Rebel harvesters in the same way. If one of your harvesters gets blown up, you can salvage it. Okay, this is looking pretty good, except we need another run of repairs. I know it's a long way to come back, but pretty soon we're just going to start spamming tanks and not care so much about veterancy. Just have a production line just pumping them out. That was, wasn't that one of the GLA's biggest feature in Command & Conquer Generals, is they could salvage and steal shit? So like their basic technical would become really, really good if it picked up a few wrecks or technology off the battlefield. That was one of my favorite features of the GLA. Pretty sure it was them. There was another game, I think it was called Act of Aggression or Act of War, where you could actually capture people. You could capture prisoners of war and you had to get them off the battlefield in a prison van. And if you put them in like a detention camp, you'd start earning money, extorting them. If you haven't played Active War, it plays very much like the storyline of Red Alert, where the Soviets invade the mainland United States. That was one of my favorite features, was just capturing people with Delta Force and then putting them in Chinooks and black bagging them. In the game, of course, not in, in the game. Yeah, but that was a surprise hit for me. I liked that game. It was like a Command & Conquer Generals clone from memory, but it was well done, and it had voice acting for the whole campaign. It was pretty cool. Yeah, extort the money from the prisoners of war. Shh, don't tell anyone. Here we go. Dakar all the way. It's Christmas in July for the 4th Industrial Empire, boys. You're planning to take over Gaijin? They can have it. Got them on the corner here. Kill box. Well, it's one side of a kill box. It's a tiny patch of unbuilt real estate. It's like playing Tetris in the final stages of the base. And you would hate for orbital debris to come raining down, like it currently is, god damn it. So stick to the corners. I don't think it attacks you in the corner. I've never had it actually fall on the middle of my base if I stay away from the middle of the map. Really give him a bottle of water. Yeah, there's definitely some like RNG to the rounds, but they also seem to not just be, they seem to be rendered, you know what I mean? Like if they miss, they seem to hit something else. No, it's not wasteful. because it saves my effort. And my effort is priceless. I only use the small ones if I'm trying to save parts, but I have what I need now. Yeah, but I don't plan on spending any more parts on anything else, so the large warehouses are gonna get it. Fresh tanks rolling off the production line, and our veterans are committed to this base. "21 enemy factories remaining." Let's use our intelligence, just like the Allied spy satellite. Let's have a look at their base. Drop in an airstrike. I accidentally built 9 Brems because the factory was on repeat order. So we'll send them out to try and repair these tanks. And if they are lost, then so be it. Forming up in a double line as the reinforcements cross no mutant land. Yeah, the reverse speed seems the same, they just don't have to turn around. Yeah, I hope we get a whole... Oh, Dreadnought's doing more damage than the mutants are. God. Dodge, stop shooting at us. Blah, 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 blah. Friendly fire. Yeah, I love how visceral the combat is. I was a Sonic tank enjoyer. I used to love that thing. I will say I wasn't a huge fan of the Mammoth Walker though. I thought that was pretty lame. I liked that they had walkers for their other thing, but it was just like straight up AT-AT. And even as a kid, I always thought the AT-AT was just the biggest meme of an armoured vehicle ever. Oh, we're about to get swarmed by maggots. Oh, yes we are. Yeah, because it fired the beam, and even if you killed the tank, the beam would still, like, travel and kill stuff, and it had, like, constant damage to anything it touched. And you could force fire it longer, a little bit longer than its range. And then, when Red Alert 2 came along, they had the Prism tank, which was crazy good. Especially veteran ones, because it would, like, bounce off everything. Veteran prison tanks were just broken. Yeah, we basically just tie its shoelaces and it falls over. See the seething mass of maggots writhing towards our position. No, sorry, only tanks. But it's a great vehicle. It's one of my favorites, the exhaust. Sort of running into a meat wall here. We can't quite penetrate it. The tentacles are getting us. You do bring up a good point, yeah. That's why the GDI did have the walkers, and that's why they had the hovercraft technology as well. And that's why Nod used a lot of subterranean vehicles. I just personally wasn't a fan of the like, the Mammoth tank was iconic. And when I saw the walker the first time, I was like, but where's the tank? Got him on the ropes now. Well, we've had him on the ropes the whole time. I've just been trying to preserve the tanks. I think we just commit them now. The veterans have fought hard, but now they need to sacrifice themselves. We need to have... Oh, they just got hit by orbital debris. Giant Ligma from space. I agree. The Mammoth name was a mistake. If they had called it something else. Because that would be like, you know, America coming out tomorrow with a new ship called the Abrams. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that you would keep the name for a different, entirely different class of vehicle. But then the Mammoth tank became the Apocalypse tank, which I was okay with in Red Alert, because the Apocalypse tank was freaking cool. Yeah, and it burns like phosphorus when you pick it up. And it mutates you into some, like, fleshling thing. You'll melt, but still be alive. Like something out of RoboCop 1. That dude that got covered in chemical vat. You're so tired? Yeah, I'm going to be tired. Get ready to roll out. What have we got? 16 factories left. So all the tanks are dead. We are rolling out with a fresh batch. None of them will have the MG. So we're a little bit weakened at the moment, but they gain veterancy pretty quickly. We need more warehouses, but we also need more money. I might push out and try and take this central zone here for the extra income. tanks are the best. They have slightly less character than brutes though, so brutes are still the best. Oh, that's right, the Marv. That was for the, was it the Steel Legion, or was it? Yeah, one of the Kane's Wrath factions. That crazy, like, 4-tracked tank thing with extra modules. Whoa! Cerb exploding. Shower of gore and viscera raining on top of the tanks. There is no more debris on the radar. That's good to hear. The closest we got was a few rocks raining down on the front line. Took out some of our tanks, that's about it. I like that the orbital debris, like the satellites that crash down, stay on the battlefield. I had one of those rain down and crash down on one of the pipes and block a whole section of the map once. Oh, more collectors, all trying to get there to drop off their load. I remember you could cheese the upgrades on the Executioner. Like if you told a whole group of them to take their weapon from one vehicle, they'd all take the weapon. Alright, that's the second point secured. I don't like to move in, I just like to kill everything and then take the points with units. Our base is taking some pressure, but I need to push them out of this section of the map. Then use this section here as defense. I agree. I agree. They're actually a really good unit to bring as your first spawn. We had answers to everything. I brought 3 dreads and the rest tanks. I've built 2 extra dreads just to shore up our defenses and give us a ring, but that's it. Right, that section is about to succumb to the flies. These guys are just chilling, watching their friends get chomped on. We can't move, there's so many corpses everywhere. So you would do that to get the stealth tank. I think the stealth tank was the most expensive thing that you could equip them with. So you'd order like 4 of them to take the stealth generator and that'll take it. It's been a good while since I played Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath, but it's a really good game. I go back every couple of years. Command & Conquer 3 is the one I've been talking mostly about, and then Red Alert 2. I love Tiberium Sun, but it's a bit old in the tooth now, long in the tooth. And I felt like Kane's Wrath campaign was done really well because it lets you be a fly on the wall for the main campaign, and you have impacts across the timeline. No, that's not right. Is it? That was Tiberium Sun, Firestorm. I don't know, I'm confused. No worries, Cactus. We'll be finishing up soon, I think. Thanks for joining us once again. Thanks for your service. Stealth avatars with flamethrowers. Sneaking in the back door. I think we could probably do it with this bunch. 5 more factories remain, and then we just need to kill a certain amount and capture the zones, and we're done. Hey Pedro, thanks for joining the channel. Thanks very much for your sub. Here's my veteran tank crew. Yeah, and no digging. Just leave that tank there to hold the point. Like that scene from Black Hawk Down. They're coming back for us, right? Yes, they are. And then the beam cannon. They also got a beam cannon, which was a very good anti-tank weapon. And you could do some tricky stuff with the Nod beam cannon and their, I can't remember the name of their aircraft, but you could bounce the beam cannon off a series. You could daisy chain the aircraft to fire the beam cannons and bounce it off the mirrors and hit wherever you like. But it wouldn't work against a human player because they wouldn't leave your helicopters to hover in a line. The Goliath was much easier to use from GDI. I believe it's like the 3rd chevron that they get it, or maybe the 2nd chevron? 3rd? Let's break through here. Bring in a dropship, take some of those buildings just for the vision. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is permanent. That was what made CNC3 good, the addition of those support powers, in my opinion. Red Alert 2 was just game-breaking, being able to deploy GIs. Revolutionary. Push in their center. Pull out their guts. We've got some bombing strikes here to finalize this fight. Five more factories remain. These guys are in trouble. Cut off and outnumbered. A lot of the GDI units uncloak stealth anyway, like their little missile buggy and their outposts. And if you know you're fighting Nod, you know they're going to be using stealth. The bio bubble, as far as I know, is just biomass accumulator, like where there's storage. But when it explodes, it lets out heaps of flies and stuff. Not all the mutant buildings do that. Tank crush, let's go. That's it, the bulldog, yeah. There is one factory remaining. We might hit it with an airstrike. Then we need to quickly grab the points. I remember when I first played CNC3 for the first time blind, and I didn't know anything about the game. I hadn't looked at any marketing or whatever, and I just being gobsmacked that there was a third faction and the way they were introduced in the campaign. I quite liked the Scrim, except for their multiplayer bullshit. They just keep coming. There is a definitive counter to Cerberus. Like, that just... every other unit struggles except for the tank. It'd be interesting to know how much a Cerberus costs, so that, you know, you can do a cost analysis on the counters. There's still a significant group of enemies. We have to kill 246 units. But it's pretty easy when they're just all maggots and flesh. Drop some bombs. Captured all the points. We just need to keep the units on them. Let's do a fighting retreat here. Keep stacking bodies without taking any losses. New reinforcements have arrived. They just keep coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. There's just too many of them, boss. I don't care. We need a quota. We need to kill a quota to satisfy High Command. When we hit 246, we can just say the battle's ended. Despite there still being significant presence, we'll bring in the flamethrower squads to finish them off. The tentacles, there's 5 of them, having a good old time. Got a barbed tip for extra pleasure. I always thought they did have to use spotting to use their artillery, but I may just be assuming that. 40 more casualties required. Some things count, other things don't. Well, it's been proven to be the most effective tactic in terms of speed. We probably would have done it faster if I hadn't blown half of my base up about 45 minutes into the battle. But I guess that's just what happens on the front line sometimes. Someone smokes when they shouldn't and blows half the base up. Yeah, it looks like 2 chevrons don't have it. But when they go gold, they do. Yeah, we most certainly need a flamer tank, Pedro. The flamethrower is really effective, we just can't move the base unless we build towards them. Mopping up operation is almost complete. Just need to get a couple of tanks on the points, and we have won another battle. There's the T-50 tank, the star of the show tonight. I really want to see this other faction that teases us on the opening menu. Handheld mortar brute. Victory is ours. The veteran tank brigade was successful in its mission. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed the Dustfront content, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll be back with more another time. Thank you to all of our members, subscribers, and friends. And I'll catch you all in the next stream. Have a great day, guys.